You think caring makes you human. Machiavelli knew it makes you controlled. The moment someone realizes they can hurt you through your emotions, you've handed them a weapon, and they will use it. Not because they're evil, because you made yourself vulnerable. Most people spend their entire lives emotionally handcuffed to others, reacting, suffering, bleeding internally, while pretending everything's fine. You're about to learn why the most powerful people you've ever encountered feel nothing when you expect them to feel everything. This is Machiavelli's rule of emotional distance, and once you understand it, you'll never be manipulated the same way again. What you're about to learn exists in the shadows of power. Most people never discover this because they're too busy drowning in their own feelings. But you're different. You're here because something inside you already knows that emotional detachment isn't cruelty, it's strategy. This knowledge separates the rulers from the ruled. Comment below, "I control the distance," not for motivation, as a declaration that you understand what most people never will.
Principle 1. Strategic opacity. Machiavelli never told you to be heartless. He told you to make your heart invisible. There's a difference between having no emotions and refusing to broadcast them. Weak people announce every feeling. Strong people create question marks. When someone can't read you, they can't predict you. When they can't predict you, they can't control you. Your emotional state becomes classified information, and in the game of power, information is everything. Look at the most effective leaders, negotiators, CEOs. Watch their faces during crisis. Nothing. Not because they feel nothing, but because they've mastered the performance of neutrality. Here's how you apply it. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your emotional reactions. Stop letting people know what hurts you, excites you, or threatens you. Your internal world is yours alone. The warning: people will call you cold. Let them. While they're busy having opinions about you, you're busy becoming untouchable. Principle 2. Calculated indifference. The person who cares less controls the relationship, always. Machiavelli understood that neediness is a poison that kills power. The moment you need someone's approval, affection, or validation, you've entered a contract where you're the debtor. Watch what happens when you withdraw attention from someone who's used to having it. They panic, they pursue, they reveal their hand. Your indifference becomes the most powerful move on the board. This isn't about being cruel, it's about understanding that your emotional investment is currency, and most people spend it recklessly on those who don't deserve it. Apply it like this: respond slower, care visibly less about outcomes involving others, detach from needing specific reactions. The less you need, the more you have. The twist: some people will finally respect you only after you stop caring if they do. That's not irony, that's human nature.
Principle 3. The investment illusion. People confuse emotional investment with wisdom. They think because they've felt deeply about something, their feelings matter. Machiavelli saw through this. He knew that emotional investment clouds judgment. The more you care, the less clearly you see. Think about every terrible decision you've made. I guarantee emotion was driving. You stayed too long in the wrong relationship. You trusted the wrong person. You fought battles that weren't worth fighting, all because your emotions convinced you the investment justified the continued loss. Powerful people cut losses without ceremony. They don't throw good money after bad, and they don't throw good emotion after failed situations. Here's your application. Ask yourself regularly, am I continuing this because it's strategic or because I've already invested emotion? If it's the latter, you're being controlled by sunken costs. Walk away from anything that drains you without returning value. No explanation needed, no dramatic exit, just gone. The danger? You'll feel like you're abandoning yourself. You're not. You're freeing yourself. Principle 4. Emotional armor. Machiavelli wrote that appearing warm while staying cold is the ultimate skill. You need people to believe you care, but you cannot actually be affected by whether you receive care in return. This asymmetry is power. Think of it as emotional armor. They see a person. You are a fortress. The most manipulative people in your life right now are experts at finding your weak spots, the things you care about too much, your family, your reputation, your sense of fairness, and they press those buttons whenever they need you to comply. Your emotional armor means you can simulate the appropriate response without actually being wounded. You can appear hurt without feeling destroyed. You can seem angry without losing control. Apply it. Identify your 3 deepest emotional triggers. Now protect them like state secrets. Never let anyone know they exist. Create decoy vulnerabilities if necessary, things you pretend to care about, so people waste their ammunition on the wrong targets. The warning here is severe. Some people will eventually realize you're protected. They'll call you fake, manipulative, a sociopath. They're just angry. Their weapons don't work anymore.
Principle 5. Selective attachment. Machiavelli didn't say love no one. He said love strategically. Emotional distance doesn't mean isolation. It means choice. The average person attaches to whoever shows up. You need to attach only to those who've earned it through consistent, reciprocal value. Most people leak emotional energy everywhere. They care about strangers' opinions. They worry about distant relatives. They maintain friendships out of guilt. This diffusion of care is why they have no power. Concentrate your emotional investment like a laser. Choose 3 to 5 people maximum who deserve your genuine vulnerability. Everyone else gets the performance. Here's the application. Audit your relationships. Who actually adds to your life? Who takes without giving? Who's there out of habit? Cut the dead weight. Not dramatically, just slowly, quietly, reduce your emotional availability to them. The twist: the fewer people you deeply care about, the more intensely you can care for them. Your inner circle becomes unbreakable because your energy isn't scattered. Principle 6. Pain tolerance. Emotional distance requires you to increase your threshold for discomfort. Most people cave the moment they feel social pressure, guilt, or the fear of being disliked. Machiavelli knew that leaders must be comfortable being temporarily hated. You cannot maintain emotional distance if you break every time someone withdraws affection or approval. You need to build tolerance for the loneliness that comes with being strategically cold. This is why weak people stay in toxic situations. They can't handle the emotional pain of exit. The temporary suffering of detachment feels worse than the permanent suffering of attachment. Powerful people train themselves to sit with discomfort. They let others be angry. They allow silence to exist. They endure being misunderstood. Application: practice small acts of emotional endurance. Don't respond to that text immediately. Don't explain yourself when criticized. Don't fill awkward silences. Let people be disappointed. Feel the discomfort and stay there. The danger is becoming numb instead of strategic. You want control over your emotions, not the absence of them. Know the difference.
Principle 7. The revenge of patience. Machiavelli understood that emotional distance gives you time, and time gives you strategy. When someone wrongs you, your immediate emotional response is to react, to fight back, to make them hurt like they hurt you. This is exactly what they expect. And in your emotional reaction, you become predictable and therefore weak. Distance means you wait, you watch, you let them think they've won. And then, when they've forgotten, when they're comfortable, when they're vulnerable, that's when you move. Cold revenge isn't about cruelty, it's about effectiveness. Hot revenge is sloppy, obvious, and often backfires. Cold revenge is surgical. The most powerful people you'll ever meet have long memories and longer timelines. They don't react, they calculate. They let time separate emotion from action. Apply it. When wronged, do nothing immediately. Create distance. Let the emotion drain. Then, from a place of clarity, decide if action is even worth it. Often, your best revenge is becoming so powerful they become irrelevant. Warning: this level of patience can make you dangerous to others, but also to yourself. Make sure you're strategic, not just vindictive. Principle 8. Transactional clarity. Emotional distance means seeing relationships as they actually are, not as you wish they were. Every relationship is transactional. Some trade love, some trade status, some trade resources, some trade attention. Machiavelli didn't judge this, he observed it. The delusion most people live under is that relationships should be pure or unconditional. This fantasy makes them exploitable, because while they're pretending relationships aren't transactions, everyone else is consciously or unconsciously calculating value. You need to see the exchange clearly. What are you giving? What are you receiving? Is the trade fair? If it's not, why are you still trading? Emotional distance allows you to evaluate without the fog of sentiment. You can love someone and still recognize they're a net negative in your life. You can respect someone and still cut them off. Apply it. Write down your top 10 relationships. Next to each, write what you give and what you receive. Be brutally honest. You'll immediately see who's taking advantage of your emotional blindness. The harsh truth: most people will hate you for having this clarity. They benefit from your confusion.
Principle 9. The performance of warmth. Here's where it gets sophisticated. Machiavelli knew that to maintain power, you must appear approachable while remaining unreachable. Emotional distance doesn't mean being visibly cold. That makes you a target. It means mastering the performance of connection while maintaining internal separation. You smile at the right times. You ask the right questions. You mirror just enough emotion to seem human. But inside, you're watching, calculating, maintaining the distance that keeps you free. The best operators are warm in person and cold in decision-making. They make you feel seen while revealing nothing about themselves. They create the illusion of intimacy without the vulnerability. This is how politicians, salespeople, and CEOs move through the world. They're friendly with everyone and loyal to no one, except through strategic choice. Apply it. Practice compartmentalization. You can be present in a conversation while emotionally detached from its outcome. You can show interest without having investment. This split consciousness is the mark of mastery. Warning: this might be the loneliest skill you'll ever develop. You'll be surrounded by people and feel utterly alone. That's the price. Principle 10. Controlled vulnerability. The final level is knowing when to break your own rule. Machiavelli wasn't stupid. He knew that absolute emotional distance makes you inhuman and ultimately isolated. The key is weaponizing vulnerability, using it strategically rather than leaking it constantly. Show weakness to the right person at the right time, and you create loyalty. Show weakness to the wrong person, and you create a target on your back. Master-level players reveal calculated vulnerabilities to build trust, then pull back into distance. They give you just enough access to feel special, but never enough to actually hurt them. Think about it. When a powerful person shares something personal with you, you feel chosen, you feel trusted, and now you're more invested in them than they are in you. Application. Choose 1 or 2 moments per month to show controlled vulnerability to strategic people. Make it feel authentic, but keep the truly damaging information locked away. Use vulnerability as a tool, not a leak. The final warning. If you do this too well, you'll forget where the performance ends and you begin. Some people become so good at emotional distance, they can't find their way back to genuine connection. Make sure you remember who you actually are underneath the armor.
Machiavelli's rule of emotional distance isn't about becoming heartless. It's about making your heart a fortress instead of a public square. The world will always punish those who care too openly. It will exploit those who need too desperately, and it will control those who attach too quickly. But you understand now that distance is power, that detachment is protection, that the space between you and your emotions is where strategy lives. Most people will never learn this. They'll spend their entire lives being moved by forces they don't understand, manipulated by people they think love them, and controlled by emotions they never learned to master. But not you. You know the truth now. The question is whether you have the strength to live it. Because emotional distance isn't a trick you learn. It's a way of life you choose. And once you choose it, you can never fully go back. Stay cold, stay calculated, stay free.